Athlete
Almost
Radio.
got it.
No, I'm not letting this story go. Power Athlete Radio, welcome to... Power Athlete Nation, welcome to another episode of the premier podcast in strength and conditioning. This is... Oh, we got him. This is a crew episode.
Yeah, I felt I had to do it. It's like a special occasion.
We are a little tired. Not.
I don't think so.
We are fresh off a 2.5-hour podcast with the guys at Kufaro Cast. And John was just talking about being on a hunting trip and going number 2. And like, do you have to nude up to do that? And I once had a when nature's call moment in nature and totally forgot about like the I guess how the plumbing works when you're going to the bathroom. We had just had a chili cook-off, and the chili was not sitting well with me. And we were up in the hills and in the woods. It was with JR and his father-in-law, and like the bubble guts hit, and it was dire. It was like a 90-second warning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had 90 seconds to go find a spot to go and like go to the bathroom, and maybe it's too much info, maybe it's not, but typically when you sit on the toilet to do your business, like it's not just number 2, it's number 1 that kind of partners up with that, right? Like, so they kind of work in unison. But I had only had number 2 on my mind, and I like Dumb and Dumber ran to a tree, like derobed, like pulled my pants down and just like got in a position that I knew that like we were going to evacuate Chile. And then I forgot about the chaser, the number 1 chaser, and pissed all over my pants.
See, that's why...
Did you pull up those pee pants?
I just wore... I took the underwear out.
Yeah. You just got to take the underwear, got to clean yourself up and just throw that away.
And it's gone, and then went and told everybody what had just happened, so just got it out of the way. Like, just let they tore into me, let it just happen, and then after about an hour, most everybody forgot about it.
Normally, the good move is you take off your pants, kind of fold them up and put them away, and make sure that, you know, at that point you're just like, I'm just going to take off all my clothes because I don't know where this is going to go.
I didn't have the time, bro.
Dude, I remember last time I was in this situation, I just took everything up, folded it up nicely, and I was like, I'm just going to use these baby wipes just to clean up wherever this thing goes. You don't know how this is going to go.
I got a timely story since we're on the topic. It was freshman year in fall ball lacrosse. In our training, we were doing sprint training at Iwo Jima. So very close to our school, and you know the monument?
Yeah.
Awesome, beautiful place, and there's a slight hill, so this is our hill sprinting and training. And I had it in my mind, you gotta eat breakfast to start the day, right? So I'm like chugging orange juice and crackers for a 6 a.m. run in my dorm room, and then right out the door. And I don't remember what number sprint, but imagine like 35, 40 dudes sprinting at this monument, and one of the reps, it hit me, and I had to keep on sprinting. So I did about 100-yard dash to the Porta-Johns, but I didn't quite make it.
Isn't the Iwo Jima monument a like known place for people of alternate lifestyles to meet?
At wide open at night? I don't know.
That's what Callie told me, that there's certain monuments around D.C. which people go to do strange things with each other.
No, there's nowhere to hide at Iwo Jima. It's a wide open field. So I just continue my dead sprint away and don't make it to the John, rocking my tighty whities, and I gotta in my lack shorts, and I gotta just toss the tighty whities away,
just
go back and
free ball it.
Well, I
free ball the rest of the sprints.
Ooh.
And I thought no one knew. So nobody said anything. It was just like I missed one run to one rep, and whatever. And later on in the year, it had to have been at a game or something. I was skipping line, or I was antsy, or I was talking shit to a senior, and he was like, "Easy, McQuilkin. We don't want you shitting your pants again." I immediately like, oh, damn, they knew.
Just shrunk down into like...
Because this was like 3-4 months later when finally we're in season from the fall ball.
Fucking
and he's
genius.
like, easy, McQuilkin, we don't want you shitting your pants again. And I was like, oh,
God damn it.
Tight butthole.
You know, I commend them on sitting on that one and using it later on
when it counted.
Oh yeah, well we've always said revenge is a dish best served cold, and those guys fucking dished you pretty good. You're like, oh god.
Oh man. Well, I guess what does this have to do with this podcast today? Well, there's a first time for everything, and the Poo Your Pants story on Power Athlete Radio for Luke and Tex. That's what this one was about. Now, it was also within the past 48 hours the first time that McQuilkin or I have watched the movie Vision Quest from roll to roll, credit roll to credit roll. And here is why. We had a question from one of our loyal Power Athlete listeners recently who called the hotline. That number is 929-ING-0. 929-464-4640. That's where we're taking your questions now.
Would that be Ingo?
No, John. Shh. No. It is Ing-O.
Ing-O.
That's right. If you have questions about training, about nutrition, about mindset, leadership, movies, anything, give us a call. Let us know. If you just have a nice, warm, fuzzy thought that you feel like sharing with the crew, you can do that too. 929-464-4640. Here is what our loyal listener had to say.
Power Athlete Radio, you guys are super rad as fuck. Where else can I hear a podcast about welding on trucks and fucking cool stuff like lifting weights and philosophy about how to live your life? I just want to tell you guys that you're super rad, but I need to know your thoughts about the movie Vision Quest. I need to know. Love your faces. You guys rock.
There we go. He needs to know.
Needs to know.
He needs to know. So we were not equipped to answer this question for No Name.
Well, 1/3 of us was.
Yes, that's right. 1/3 of us was, because they have seen it, quote, a million times and watch it, quote,
it's on his phone right now.
Quote.
It's one of my staple movies.
I'm using this gesture of the quote gesture with my fingers because I don't believe you.
Well,
you don't think I've seen that movie probably.
But here's also
times.
the thing: he may have been dropping these quotes, and it's just over our head because we've never seen it.
But now we know. So here's how this whole thing shook out. I have never seen Vision Quest. I'm aware of it. Obviously, John, you have mentioned it multiple times, which would lean into you've probably seen it 100 times. And then I've got friends who are wrestlers who have mentioned it, who have talked about Shute.
We had it on VHS.
I
bet you, like, if my mom hadn't moved out of her house, I could probably go and tell you where that VHS tape was. But now it's probably in the trash. And
what was your first watch, John? Was it theater experience? Was it VHS? Or your brothers had seen it and they forced you?
I think the first... I didn't see it in the theaters. I think the first time I saw it was on a VHS tape. And we probably rented it at this place called, like, Rent-A-Video. We used to go to this video store that was next to a Chinese food restaurant where we used to go get takeout when I was a kid. And we would go in, and if my parents, like, got takeout Chinese food from this place, or was it some takeout place. There was a video store that we would go to out in Lanada Bay, and like Vision Quest was on there. And the only reason that we rented it or we were excited to watch it was the cover had a Fairly Hot Chicken on the back. Madonna was on the cover. So we were like, oh, this is got to be pretty good.
So I do want to do this. Listeners.
What year is it?
It's 85.
85.
So it's 85. And we're going to get into this movie. Listeners, if you like this, if you have not seen this movie, I'll put, like, spoiler alert, it's worth it. Like, it's an 80s movie that's absolutely worth seeing.
As long as you watch the trailer
That is
first.
Yes, because you need to have the experience.
That looks like the VHS cover where it had Madonna, it had Matthew Modine, and then it had the hot chick on it.
So
I remember the cover.
You need to experience it how McQuilkin and I did. There are going to be spoilers in this. This podcast will be better if you watch the movie.
Yes.
So McQuilkin and I are like, all right, let's watch it. Like, I'd heard about it. And one thing that Tex and I'll do really frequently is we just throw on YouTube and we watch movie trailers. Like, I love movie trailers. We have this gimmick we're working on that's like compares the trailer to the movie and this, that, and the other thing. So we watch this trailer.
Side hustle.
And it's hot garbage. Like, Tex comes in to the podcast room, John. You were on vacation. And he's like, you need to watch something. Like, dead. So even more serious look on his face than his typical serial killer serious face. And I'm like, what? He's like, you have to watch the Vision Quest trailer. And I watched the trailer and it's like 90 seconds and I'm like, because I knew we were going to watch this movie. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to give hour and 47 minutes to this hot garbage. Right? Like, what am I not missing? So you got to watch that trailer on YouTube. It is a terrible trailer.
We also knew it was so bad. And Ashley Summers, Luke's wife, comes in. We're like,
let's pitch it to her.
We're watching a movie this weekend.
I tried to pitch it to her because it is deemed as a drama romance movie.
Oh.
And in the trailer, it is from the executive producers of Flashdance.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can get her to watch it. Long story short, she was not in on this. So Vision Quest 1985, a drama romance movie, is about a high school wrestler in Spokane, Washington that has trouble focusing on his training regimen when a beautiful young drifter takes up temporary residence at his home. That is not at all what this movie is about. Like, it is, but it isn't.
It's a trials and tribulation movie. It's a young man coming to age, conquering his demons, shooting to be better than he was, kind of a, girl, obviously older, kind of taking a young boy and leading him on the path to manhood. I mean, I think it's an amazing movie.
My one takeaway on this is the drama and romance was so grotesquely forced into the plot of this movie. This movie,
but there was a lot of force in this movie.
A lot of force. And that is not just in the storytelling, but the multiple, sexual assaults that occurred in this movie that were just happenstance and, sleight of hand. And
you got to remember, this is the mid-'80s. This isn't the 2020s.
I get it, but, it just was. It is I'm not criticizing that. It just is an interesting way back machine because you're right. That's how movies were. Get in there, toots, and smack a girl's butt, or this. I mean, here, just spoiler alert. Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, the main character Loudon is working his side hustle job as room concierge and room service.
Room service. So
for a hotel.
He's a delivery boy.
Yeah. So he goes and delivers this dude's meal.
Can we talk about the meal?
Yeah.
So two pieces. So it's one man in his hotel room ordering 2 pieces of lemon meringue pie and a coffee. So our main character, Modine, goes up to deliver these 2 pieces of pie to one man in his hotel room and a cup of coffee to a guy that's doing Tai Chi alone.
Yep. Short shorts, tank top.
So he can go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. And the food he's eating to go to bed is 2 pie slices and a cup of coffee. I'd be up all night.
I don't even know why that would even be weird. I mean, who doesn't get 2 pieces of lemon meringue pie and a cup of coffee at night?
This guy. And then this is also when we are told about Loudon Swain. Loudon Swain's nutritional regimen for in-season wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. 600 calories.
Yeah.
A day.
If you guys remembered on the Nick Hardwick podcast, he did his 1-3-2-4, 600 calories, 1,800 calories, 1,200 calories, 2,400 calories. So he was eating 600 calories.
Not every day like Loudon Swain.
Not in season.
He was every 4 days he was.
In season?
This was after he retired.
Yeah, in retirement.
Yeah. So
post-season.
But we're presented with an interesting opportunity where this guy then is trying to court Loudon Swain by teaching him Tai Chi to share some pie and spend the night with him. And it's what in the hell? How did that make the plot line?
Here's why. They needed a way to tell us the story. So here's this random stranger.
That this was the vehicle. We are the random strangers.
John, that's a very beautiful way. So Loudon paints this picture.
You sniffer.
Loudon paints a picture and tells this guy, okay, steps 1, 2, and 3, this is my goal in my journey, and that we're going to go on as the viewer. And that's it. Where you say this plot line is forced, it is just told to us directly versus built up and expressed in a story that is told. I would say there's a story that's told to us through film. This is a story that's told to us in film.
It's kind of like a George Strait song. Yeah, it just starts talking and telling you the story.
That's
And
And
there's,
they didn't ask.
yeah, like all of a sudden George Strait just starts telling you a story. Like there's no, euphemisms or, analogy, nothing. Just get right into it.
Yeah, so the first act of this movie is essentially like we're learning about wrestling and this guy's in Loudon's goals to take on like the baddest dude in town who's this Shute, right? Do we
Shute.
know the
Yeah.
Shute?
The Shute.
And a few questions about that. So he's on the team. He's 190.
Oh, at that time he was I think he tipped in at 194?
He has to get down to 168.
Correct. But
Right. He's
he's the
dropping
best.
2 weight classes.
He's the best person on the team at said weight class.
2 weight
And then
classes.
you know what? I'm going to drop 30 pounds and go after this.
Well, it's because he's on his vision quest.
But no, he learns that Vision Quest term after this.
But the guy gives him the term Vision Quest to
Who, Cooch?
describe what he was already doing. He was on his Vision Quest, but like you can be on a Vision Quest, you don't need anybody to tell you you're on a Vision Quest. But if somebody goes, "Hey, Tex,
But
you're on a
then
Vision
they-
Quest,"
have to, again in this movie, tell us exactly.
Well-
what's going on.
well, what it was he was the best at his weight class, and all of a sudden he wanted to challenge himself against the best. And it just so happened that
It was
the
this guy
best
Shute at 168.
was like 2 weight classes below him, which is ironic that we actually used that line growing up and being like, "You dropped to 168" was kind of one of our jokes, and it's good. It's a good one. I mean, but like the other one is like, "You gonna make the weight?" Like the bleeder one. Like there's so many lines that we use from it, but he wanted to be the best, and the only way you're the best is if you challenge the best. It just so happened it wasn't his weight class. So what was he going to do? Just not wrestle the best and just go win it again? No, he's got to challenge himself, put himself into the situation, dig himself into a hole, and try to be victorious.
I get it, and it was fine, and it's a lofty goal, and no one's necessarily with him on it. Everybody, it's a selfish move because it doesn't help the team.
Yeah, they're
the
mad
coach
about it.
has no faith in him. His dad's just uninterested. It seems like because they're in a single parent home. The mother is left, and like, man. So that's the first act. The second act is then the romance.
Oh man,
What's her name?
Her
In
name
real
is
life,
Linda.
Carla? Oh, go ahead.
Carla in the movie.
Yeah, Carla in the movie. What was her real name?
Fiorentino. Linda
So,
Fiorentino.
She's in Dogma.
I always yeah, that's right. That's right. That is, yeah. I always imagined at the time, what if she didn't have that crazy 80s perm? She probably would have been dramatically hotter.
I think
She
she
was
was
pretty
great.
hot.
I think she
She was pretty hot.
This was her first movie ever.
But the 80s perm, like, I remember even back then, it just didn't look good.
So Girl of the Dreams enters, starts to
in a very weird way.
also a bizarre and totally forced and incongruent plot point about a car breaking down and
Yeah, but Loudon's dad is a mechanic.
yes.
So it does play into that.
Okay, let's walk through this playing
Okay.
into it. Tex, take it.
She's from Trenton, New Jersey. She's got an attitude.
In Spokane, Washington.
That's what I'm getting at. But she's aiming. She's an artist, and she's going to San Francisco. All right, and they show her drawing. She's good, but
How did she get
I
this
don't know
photo?
how-
What is she taking? Number one. Number two, her car breaks down. Mechanic fights the car salesman who she bought the car from. And number three, the next natural thing is to send your son over to buy her pie and then invite her into your home. There's no...
Whoa.
Loudon invited her, which
Correct.
feels like an impetuous thing for a 17-year-old kid to do.
Right.
But-
no, he reminds us several times that he's 18, John. He tells us this.
Okay. Well, an impetuous 18-year-old kid probably doesn't, kind of uninterested or really hasn't met the right girl. All of a sudden, this
And
girl walks in, steals his heart.
Did we say she's 21, right? We told her.
I
Was she
think
21?
I think so.
That sounds about right.
She's 21. He's 18. They mentioned this a half dozen times. Okay, so then this is the second act, but the second act starts to bleed into like
The goal.
the goal, which is like the matchup towards Shute is happening. He witnesses Shute do a belly to belly suplex pin, and like
I thought that was a pretty funny scene. So this kid attends another high school's wrestling match, and he's got this little tape recorder, and he's like, all right, notes on wrestling match Shute. and then within 2 seconds, it's over.
Shute just slams his dude and is like, the Shute dude is impressive, and if he weighs $168, I'll be a monkey's uncle because that dude is fucking 185.
I got some info on that.
Is he 160? Well, I thought he was short.
He's not that much shorter than Loudon.
Matthew Modine's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's not that much shorter than Loudon.
So maybe that dude was 5'8"?
Yeah, 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", probably 5'9", 5'10". With boots
how
on.
tall is Matthew Modine? Like 6 feet, 6'2"?
6'2".
Because he was 6'2". If you look at Modine, and he's like
6'2", 168. He would be on the BMI chart.
Yeah.
For healthy.
Right, and he could maybe pull it off.
6'3".
I'm supposed to be 165 to 210 at 6'6".
You better take it easy on the the rice cakes. I don't know what that has to do with anything. But so then this is the training montages now begin, and the goals becoming more serious, and the conflict starts to thicken because he's got these two what would seem like competing goals of trying to win the girl of his dreams who has no interest in him.
Aren't they the same?
I don't know. It's part of the vision quest.
I think they're the same.
And then
unattainable until they are.
And then he now realizes that he doesn't waver on his commitment to dominate Shute. So now the training starts to ramp up, but people are still not buying in on it yet. No one's on Loudon's side. He's on an island still.
Which
I don't. Did you guys understand the analogy or kind of the imagery of him in the bar with Madonna on stage playing "Crazy for You"?
Yes. First off, the soundtrack is also
dude,
I am a
so
big fan.
overtly
It's
blatant of pairing with the scene.
The soundtrack. I really believe the strength of this movie is based upon the soundtrack. It's the reason it survived.
I don't disagree because the lyrics,
like John Waite's, like the montage songs. I mean, dude, "Crazy for You" that was Madonna's big break. Like, dude, unbelievable.
It has to be Harold Becker's.
Shute's character is 6 foot, and Modine's 6'3" for the record.
Harold Becker, who's the director here, he must have said, his principle of this theme is, we're not just going to show them, we're not just going to tell them, we're going to remind them every step of the way what's going on the picture and what the characters are thinking by writing it into the script. Because the lyrics of the song also told you exactly what was happening in the movie. There's no ambiguity.
This is pre-Madonna breakthrough.
This was her first cinema, first deal in cinema. So I think I remember reading about how she got her break into this movie. It was because she had her new album. They wanted her to get in. This just happened to be the movie that they were putting all the Hollywood production houses. This was going to be their big hit, because I can't remember the movie that Matthew Modine did before this that kind of put him on the map.
Oh, I don't know.
We have to acknowledge it, and I guess shameless plug for a podcast that Tex and I have been listening to for a while now that has to do specifically with cinema is Bill Simmons' Rewatchables, and they've brought this up. And this
did they do this movie?
Yes.
Oh,
and so we cannot take credit for this, but Vision Quest has to be the worst cinema lat pull down ever performed in movie history. Once Loudon finds out that his love interest is what he believes two-timing him with one of his teachers. Mm-hmm. Right? He goes in and the training montage begins. And he goes in and he grabs this lat pull down.
Do you remember who the individual is?
The teacher?
Yeah.
In terms of the actor?
He was also in one of my favorite 80s movies.
Fast Break?
No. Uncommon Valor.
Ah.
So he was one of the chopper pilots in Uncommon Valor, and I cannot remember his name.
Harold Sylvester, maybe?
That's him.
Then, listen, ladies and gentlemen, so Loudon has 50 pounds on the lat pull down. Okay, so 5 10-pound plates. He's got a wide grip on this, and he is heaving this down behind his neck, down past his shoulder blades for 1 rep, letting it come up, just ghosting the plates down. They're crashing, and then he goes into a pull down in front and pulls it down and touches his thighs with the cambered bar, pull-up bar. And he's doing this for 15 reps, and he's sloppy all over the place. I mean, everybody knows. Anyone who goes to a gym and has ever used a lat pull-down machine, no one has mistaken it to be used like that.
No. And what I was confused about, the gym setup, I think it's awesome. It was a former basketball gymnasium. You got your wrestling mat, and then you had your weight room set up on the gymnasium floor. And there's like this 60-second pan across this beautiful weight room in 1985. Consider that a really nice weight room, bench press, squat racks that are still loaded and no one's in there. And they stop at the end of the weight room, and it's just this dude on a lat pull down getting angry.
Yeah.
He had so many more options to choose from to...
Well, maybe it was the only movement that he could actually perform well. And he
maybe they tried tried everything, and they're like, just get on the lat pull down.
Like,
I don't know, dude.
Squat was bad, bench, everything was bad, but goddamn, that lat pull down looked crazy.
That's probably real, John. They're like, no, that doesn't look right. Go fucking rip on this thing a little bit.
Can you pull it harder?
Mm-hmm. And then, so this is where I think the training montage, like, really starts to thrive. The soundtrack really starts to thrive.
Well, it was the first time we ever saw a pegboard, which was, we had at Balboa because of it, and then CrossFit decided that they were going to put a pegboard in, and if somebody references a pegboard, they're talking about Vision Quest.
I did not know that. I believe it. First pegboard in cinema history was Vision Quest.
Dude, it was the first time I'd ever seen a pegboard.
They in my opinion, dramatized that freaking thing.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah.
Dramatized. Because it was impossible to get to the top.
No one could do it. But you know what? Loudon did. And the fact that he did changed his coach, the whole team's perspective on his goal. Yeah. So now that he could do the pegboard, he must be ready for Shute.
Well, it was showing commitment. That he was willing to commit to going up the pegboard, which meant that his commitment was high enough for them to believe in him.
It was symbolic.
What I didn't understand.
Symbology.
I understand the symbology because it showed one of the dudes that doesn't like him. I don't understand why his team hated him so much.
Do you know why? Because wrestling, even though it's an individual sport, is a kind of a team sport because what they do is they win and then you could get like a team points. The amount
similar
of points.
To swimming, yeah.
Yeah, it's similar. So what they were mad about was that he was dropping weight class when he was already the best in his weight class. So they looked at it from a deal that he was being selfish. For the team, he needs to wrestle at the weight class that he can be the most dominant. Dropping down to wrestle Shute doesn't guarantee them.
Yeah, especially when you're a bleeder and you can't win matches.
But that was the whole spark to climb the pegboard was the conflict with the 200-pound weight class. I forget the biggest guy in the team, and then I guess that exercise changed everything. And you hear that big guy as soon as he climbs to the top of the board and the music is blasting. You just hear him in the background.
Come on, Loudon.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Is that what he says?
Yeah. And this is also, I think, like, man, there's this, we're climbing the conflict, and there's these peaks and valleys because now all of a sudden Loudon's dad asks him to go get his grandpa, and Loudon takes Carla. Mm-hmm. And then we realize that Carla actually has a thing for Loudon, and I think they do the hunka chunka on this road trip. If I'm not,
is that what you call it these days? The hunka chunka?
Yeah. I've
never heard it called the hunka chunka.
Is that the hunka chunka? That's from Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, which one's the hunk and which one's the chunk?
Hey, Tex, have you ever heard that one before?
That's from classic Rookie of the Year. The hunka chunka.
Funky butt loving.
Funky butt loving.
But they get it on. And Loudon's...
I think we can't neglect the get it on when they're in the truck and he's trying to, like...
With the big hands?
Show off. Before big hands, his nocturnal emissions.
Yeah, nocturnal emissions.
You know what's good about exercise, John? You get a lot of nocturnal emissions.
It's a great way to wake up in the morning.
She's like, is that supposed to turn me on?
The lines in this movie...
Yeah, the problem is you guys are so far away from 18 and 21 that, like...
No.
You guys are just too far removed. Like, you don't remember what it was like to be 18 years old trying to court a 21-year-old.
I remember that it didn't include.
I just told a story when I was 18 and shitting my pants.
You don't just tell everybody everything you're thinking, Loudon.
But what you guys,
but it worked. You can't argue with results.
What you guys are forgetting is that Loudon's honesty and his ability to wear his heart on his sleeve and to be vulnerable is why he's such a lovable character.
Vulnerable. Okay.
I hate him.
Tex, how did you describe it yesterday when we were walking to the trucks?
remember.
You're like, his forthrightness was so uncomfortable. That's what Tex said, something like that.
Yeah. Just that everything he is thinking, he just says. It reminded me, honestly, a lot of our friend Nathan Austin. Just like, okay.
You're like, oh, so you have no internal monologue.
That is a great point.
So
It's all external. It's all communicated.
I have met a few distinct individuals. They usually have some form of mental illness, like Nate, that don't have an internal monologue, and what they choose to do is talk out loud and tell you their internal monologue, where you're thinking to yourself, this sounds a lot like the conversation you should be having in your head, not necessarily the one that you should be sharing with me.
So Vision Quest was a book that was made into a movie. And when we read books, like in the first
the internal
person,
monologue,
it's our opportunity to hear and see and
inside the mind
and feel that empathy from the character. And in movies, and a conversation I had with Callie, one thing she highlights or looks for and appreciates is in a movie, it's the connection between like the symphony, the soundtrack, and the actor's ability to express something. And there's no words, but you can almost feel what that
just like in Vision Quest
emotion is. And the exact opposite occurs in Vision Quest.
No, he's in the bar. She's playing crazy. I think.
He tells the
I think that
teacher.
the pairing
what he's thinking
of the music, the pairing with the music.
Oh, so is Madonna is the internal monologue.
Yes,
that's cheating.
It's not internal. It's external. It's not.
It's not a symphony.
They are using the soundtrack as an additional character in the movie.
Yeah, but there's a good here's an example of a good version of that. Eye of the Tiger in Rocky, right? It is like there's
Clubber Lang's
You mean when he's
montage.
driving in like the Lamborghini and he's going through the tunnel in Philly, which is on the 676, and he's listening to that song and he's just focused and he's having the flashbacks.
Well, no, the Eye of the Tiger is
that.
Clubber Lang's. So that's the initial montage in Rocky 3. Clubber Lang is in the basement, and grinding and sweating, and the Rocky is.
Was that the no?
He's winning those
What's
like
the one
bum
when he's
fights?
driving in the car? Is that No Easy Way Out, or is that no? That's not Eye of the Tiger is a training montage when he's down in L.A. That's the Eye of the Tiger when he crumples the picture and throws it. That's when they get into it.
But it's the Eye of the Tiger is Clubber Lang. That's his mental Madonna.
So an example of the Vision Quest version of that would be like.
I'm crazy for you.
Well, it would be he'd be like, I have the eye of the tiger, and then the soundtrack's like, Eye of the Tiger, and so it's just like this weird repeater of.
It's like an additional character in the movie,
I guess. Anywho, I do want to kind of barrel forward, Tex, and we get into now the third act where it is like the match is set, it's going down, right? It is the climax of the movie. Shute, Loudon, confront one another in a hallway after a match, after he's a bleeder, and now everything is now leading up to. He's got the girl. He's got. Has he received his sage advice? No, he hasn't received sage advice yet. He's got the girl. Everybody's on his side. His team's on his side. His coach is on his side. Everybody believes in him, but he still doesn't quite have exactly what he needs.
Well, she leaves.
That's
can't.
right.
And that shows the scaffolding of his personal goal diminish and fall apart. So he was so focused on the girl, and she's gone, and then he was distraught and destroyed.
Well, I mean, he's 18 years old. You have to cut him some slack.
I agree. No, I
mean, he meets.
He got played.
Yeah, he meets the girl of his dreams. I mean, think about
this is probably the most authentic part of the movie.
I can't remember the name of James Townsend, NFL player who's a CrossFitter. He broke up with a girl and was so emotionally distraught he quit the NFL. And then a year later, or shortly thereafter, I forgot, maybe it wasn't a year, realized, oh fuck, what did I do? Tried to go back and couldn't get back to the NFL. Told me the story, and I was like, wow, Loudon Swain had the biggest moment of his life, and he almost threw it away because of this girl. But you know what? He didn't.
Because my favorite scene. And this is what you're getting to when he goes and he's got an interesting. So his father is, I guess, working full time and then loses his job. He's not exactly the mentor and the guide on this vision quest, but an unlikely mentor is. And it's a man that the
hotel chef.
A hotel chef. And he goes and
takes a day off or takes a night off.
Well, I don't know why Loudon went. So he lost the girl. He didn't show up for the matches, the weigh-in. And he goes and seeks out his mentor and goes to his small apartment. And this dude, he shows this, the movie shows Elmo is his name, getting ready. So he's now clean shaven. And the rest of the movie, he's, slick back hair. He's a nighttime chef smoking as he's making lemon meringue pies.
And coffee.
And now he's clean shaven. He's pressed his shirt. He's putting on his tie. And you can see like the nicks on his fresh shaved face, like he's hasn't done it in forever. And Loudon goes in and almost expresses he's this match
Bailing it.
means nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's one girl left. This match means nothing. And the beautiful, chilling speech by Elmo. I'm a big fan. 6 minutes. And what's his name? Loudon diminishes his goal. It's just 6 minutes. And then the dude's got to build him back up. 6 minutes. And references and experience. I don't want to ruin it for our listeners that haven't seen it yet, but it's a chilling speech that puts him now in a position to break that threshold and have the confidence to sprint back and make the weigh-in to take on our nemesis.
And then there's also the weird part where he's slightly over, so he takes off his underwear to make the weigh-in.
Oh, yeah.
First off, so he's late to the weigh-in and then rolls in and weighs in with clothes on. And then doesn't make weight, and he's like, well, I better get naked then. It's like, you could have just taken your shirt and pants off.
Here's the other thing. After he got naked and all his teammates and coach.
They all hugged him.
All hugged him, butt naked. So he makes weight.
Yeah, but this is the 80s.
And
that was okay back then. Just like when the coach does the Boston Crab move on that dude, and then when he gets up, pats him on the butt, because you know what? Dude, the coach wearing the singlet with the collared shirt underneath is still my favorite picture.
Yes.
It's great.
And I guess
big whistle. To
push the plot line forward, they face off. There's a close call with bleeding because he's got an iron deficiency from starving himself.
Can I make one comment?
Anemic.
Go ahead.
His new wrestling shoes. So they do an intentional zoom in on these red shoes that matches the team's colors, and before he didn't have those. But you know who was also a sports goods salesman? Mr. Tai Chi Lemon Meringue Pie.
Oh,
that
you think
offered him a pair of shoes earlier in the movie.
So you think he went in and did what he had to do to get those shoes?
Are you saying Loudon was the third piece of pie?
I'm just wondering who ate that second piece.
Interesting.
That's a good plot twist.
Yeah, wow. So he has these new shoes. He's back. He's training. There's a big earlier. He's cutting 20 pounds by starving himself and exercising and not sleeping. I mean, his sleep health is terrible, and so he's got these nosebleeds. And he got a nosebleed, and he had to forfeit a wrestling match prior to this. So that's like a point of contention.
That he was winning.
Yeah, that's a point of contention now with Shute is Shute's going to make him bleed, right? And then if he bleeds, he loses. You can't do that. Can't be doing that in wrestling. So they get on the mat. Things shake down. You got Loudon Smith, who looks like, or Loudon Swain, who looks like a tall, gangly, just string bean. And then you got Shute, who's 168 pounds, 185. Right, like he's jacked. He's jacked. He's strong, and in real life, I don't think
obviously not 18 years old.
No, he's 28.
So that was the one thing I remember when we saw it, being like, that dude doesn't look like he's 18 years old. And then it's like, But then when I got to high school, there were dudes that were 18 years old that had full beards.
Yeah, beards.
So I remember there was
chest
a dude
hair and shit like that.
When I was a freshman, there was a guy who was a senior who was kind of a dick to me, Brandon Himmelwright. He had. I shit you not, he had a beard that looked like he was like a guy who'd been in Afghanistan as a Navy SEAL for 30 years.
Right.
Like, had full chest hair, wore cowboy boots with a buckle. Like, dude was huge.
Buckle on the boots?
Yeah, buckle on the boots that matched the buckle around his waist. Was huge. Had like a 68 Firebird, and like, dude had I thought the guy was like a teacher. It turned out he was like a senior in high school. I'm like, holy shit.
So it goes down. Our protagonist ends up victorious. It's unclear as to whether the girl is there to see it go down. It's unclear then after that. The celebration is team hoisted onto the shoulders of the team, freeze frame into Loudon's final monologue, which is just hot garbage about the importance of Vision Quest and finding answers. But it's unclear as to whether or not he got the girl, because there's another love interest that seems probably more appropriate for Loudon, who's his girl.
Quite hilarious as well.
Well, I think the, maybe the girl that you pining after, like the part, like she helped him at that moment in his life, because remember she shows up as he's getting dressed to go out and go. She comes into the locker room and talks to him, and like pumps him up, and then he goes out and wins. And she's not there at the end in the freeze frame.
Right. And
so it makes me believe she just left.
Yeah, they were on the same. Yeah.
She filled her role and helped a young boy or a boy become a man and helped him climb his mountain.
I agree.
She was there.
The line that he had mentioned, John, was, "I wouldn't have done it. If I could do it again, I would." Meaning, I think there was a finality to that relationship. They both had an appreciation for the point they are at. They both knew that was it. And even knowing that it ended and it hurt, they wouldn't change anything. And I think there was a scene where they do a fast cut, speed cut to our girl, the press. I can't remember her name. Newspaper gal. That to me was like
her name.
That. If there's a Vision Quest 2, they're together.
She was in a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah, she was. She was real pretty too. So
but they nerded her up.
Yeah, they did for sure.
She's in Melrose Place. In Spaceballs, she was the heroine.
She was a Druish princess. Princess Thelma, as I think it was called. Funny, she doesn't look Druish.
So I guess, Tex, one question I have for you, and John, this is, I don't know if you read Tex's recent opus. He's finally delivered his opus. His time here is done. He's provided the world with the content that's needed.
So he's become the Carla of our Vision Quest.
Tex, it was a meaningful relationship. I got you to the point you needed to go.
Tex,
and now I'm drifting.
Tex has created the official Power Athlete sports movie checklist. Let's see if this is a sports movie, Tex. Is there a training montage?
Several.
Is this an underdog come from behind or upset city scenario?
Yes.
Okay. Can the actors actually look like they can play the sport?
I was pretty amazed by the final wrestling scene. That looked pretty intense, and fuck, that hurt.
Okay, so is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Hesitantly. Given an opposing athlete, system, circumstance, or even self-imposed opposition, is resolution discovered via the sporting arena?
I can't believe you wrote this.
100%. And, I mean, he's got so many self-inflicted things going on, including that disease. What does he call it? It's not a situation.
Basically, hyperbonerism?
Yeah, and he tells his teacher... He tells his teacher this.
He's like, I get boners all the time. It's totally normal, but it's hard. You'd think it'd be great, but it's not. Okay, so...
I'm telling you, man. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and maybe that's how. And here's the deal: maybe that's how kids were when they were 18 years old in 1985.
So there's a conflict. Do you think resolution was discovered via the sporting arena?
Yes.
Okay. Finally, is there a chilling speech to rile up the hero?
100%, and maybe one of the top 10 sports speeches of all time.
Oh my God! Fine, take it. So, John, this is according to our official Power Athlete sports movie checklist. A sports movie and not a drama/romance.
No, not at all.
Huh. Wow.
But is there a genre for sports movies?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sports.
No, I mean, but but you also have to remember in 1985.
Well, yes.
Where was there a genre of sports movies?
Oh, yeah. Rocky 3 had come out. Rocky 4.
Were those known as sports movies?
Yeah.
I thought they were. I thought they were like a drama.
Longest Yard, the OG with Mr. Burt Reynolds.
But were they actually categorized as sports movies?
I'm not sure. That's a great, now they would be, but...
Yeah, now they would, but in 1985 they had two. You were either a love story or a drama.
Yeah, that could be it. So
or a comedy. That was it.
Yeah, so Rocky 4 was 85 and is a drama.
Yeah. So they didn't have a genre of sports movies.
But now IMDb is drama, sport. Yeah. So this is a 1985 film. And here were some of the things that it competed against and this is in IMDb order. We have Cocoon, The Goonies, Back to the Future, Weird Science, The Breakfast Club, Come and See, Clue, Teen Wolf, Legend, A Room with a View, and then all I'm really trying to get down to is Commando.
I saw, you're going to laugh at this.
The
I
reason
saw
didn't
Commando.
see this, yeah.
Hold on.
I saw Commando, I saw Cocoon, and I saw Teen Wolf in the movie theaters.
Was
I think it was on the same
1985
day.
John's favorite movie year of all time? Was it 85?
86, I think.
I was 94. I think you were 85.
No, it wasn't 85.
Well, irrelevant. Pee-wee's Big Adventure also came out, so there's a lot of movies. Number one in 85, I was 3 years old, so that's why I don't remember seeing this movie.
I saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure in the movie.
But
man, I saw all these in the movie theater, which makes me believe what we would do is my parents would drop us off, and we would see like every movie.
Yeah.
We'd be
What month in 1985 was this released?
I don't know if I have that info readily available text. But all I got to say is 1985, 15 February. Yeah, it's right there. 15 February.
I'm going to do some math. I think I was conceived to this movie.
It would answer a lot of questions.
Oh, that's great. So I guess to answer our listeners' question, what do we think of Vision Quest? John, how would you, let's say you can give it a couple sentences. What are you going to say about Vision Quest?
I think the problem with a lot of these movies
Couple sentences.
is you guys are looking at it in a 2020 lens. You have to put yourself back into the 80s and realize how impactful this movie might have been for a 9-year-old kid who realized that when you're 18, you can totally bang 21-year-olds. And you were going to have to be in a position where you're going to have to strive and reach for greatness.
So Vision Quest, John, are you in or are you out?
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm a fan.
Text, couple sentences.
For the record, Power Athlete Radio episode 192, where it's John, Bert Soren, and myself. You
Couple
were
sentences.
1985.
Oh.
I was
Couple
1994.
sentences. It's not a bad year, John. There's some really
Well, I
great
mean,
flicks in there.
Cocoon, Goonies.
Vision Quest.
I think we saw Goonies twice because we went and saw it. Then we made my mom bring us back to see it.
All right. Sports movie, I'm in, but not based on the preview. And I'm going to give this to a specific age group of young men to watch and observe. I feel 10 years old up to 14, and after 14, this just starts to get unbelievable. So that's a good range in which it's far enough away from when you're going to be 18 that you can dream up towards it.
Or
But-
35. So it'd be like 10 to 14 or 35.
So I had very little faith based off the preview. I am undoubtedly in on this movie on multiple layers. Number one, as like that, an aspiring sports movie, root for the hero. But then number two, as an adult, to be like, what the fuck did he just say?
Dude.
And even knowing it's 1985, like there's a layer of cheesiness. I'm not talking about appropriateness,
Well,
just how cheesy that layer is.
Think about this, right? How many high school kind of sports drama would you call are there out there at the time? So you got to remember, all the high school movies were either like
16 Candles?
Yeah, like
like
adventure.
they were Brad packed. Like there was either their Goonies, you either had like 16 Candles, or you had like Porky's, or like there was no no movie like this at the time where it showed like a kid who wasn't the cool kid
Well, there
kind
was-
of coming in the sports deal.
The Lost Boys, Outsiders, Footloose.
So yeah, Footloose. Footloose is similar to this movie in the same way,
Yeah.
where there's like, encounters some form of friction. The girl, this
Weird
has some weird science. Why are we wearing bras on our heads? Shut up, dude. Fucking
So-
still one of the. Okay, so we had Weird Science on VHS, and we watched it so many times that we couldn't watch it anymore because it would just go dark. Like
That's a lot of watching.
It was our favorite movie. Kelly LeBrock. It was fucking awesome.
So we got undoubtedly in, all three of us. Quality movie. John,
Pleasantly
you're right.
surprised.
Yeah, you were right. We were wrong. You're good looking. We're not. You're smart. We're stupid.
I'm not. You're real smart, and I'm not.
Yeah. So I can't not recommend this movie, honestly, to anyone. I think it's fantastic on various levels. Any other closing words?
The fact that you got Risky Business is another amazing movie.
Yeah.
Because the fact that he sets up a brothel in his house with Rebecca De Mornay is another, like,
Rebecca De Mornay.
they don't make movies like these anymore.
I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to another episode. Strength and conditioning? Really?
Ing?
Yeah, we didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
But if you enjoyed this show, let us know. Call us. 929-ING-0. 929-464-4640. The hotline is open. Let us know what you're thinking. Just say hi or ask us a question.
Too is if you could leave us a 5-star review or tell your friends.
Yeah, why not?
We love referrals.
Yeah, we love referrals. We love you. We love Vision Quest. Until next time. Bye. Bye.
Now it's time for you to empower your performance. Head to powerathletehq.com/training to choose from a number of programs to meet your specific performance goals. And if you like to break a mental sweat too, visit academy.powerathletehq.com and become a real stakeholder in you or your athlete's success. Until next time, bye!